And here's our countdown video. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Writing Sprint Thursdays with Hank and Abby. How are you, Abby?
I'm gonna piggyback on a hot take that I see happening in the chat. I hate
You
to
know I
tell you,
love a hot
Doug,
take.
but I'm sort of with Samantha on this one. I
Oh,
am not a Lord of the
I,
Rings fan.
you're not a Lord of the Rings fan?
Heck no.
Well,
I appreciate it for what it is, but I am not going to sit through either reading or watching that.
I have an affectionate spot for Lord of the Rings because that was I guess my entree to real fantasy when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
And then, it was one of those things that I thought would never get made into a movie. And when I heard that Peter Jackson was making, I had zero hopes that it was going to be good. Zero. I went in with no expectations whatsoever. And I was so pleasantly surprised that and my kids were very little at the time, and our youngest Noah, I don't think was even born yet. He just turned 21. Somebody do the math. But I think he was still a couple years away from being born. And it just, like, in my family, it's one of those memories that all of my kids were little when I introduced it
Watch
to them, and it's just one of those things. So
I did read the first book. I
yeah.
think I was just out of college when I read it, and I can remember, my heart racing, and I got freaked out, like, what if the ring wraiths catch up with them? So, there was a little excitement in there, but that's not why I read. So I did not enjoy that feeling, and I was like, "Screw this, I'm not reading anymore."
Speaking of that, our middle child, Gracie, was, I think, 3 at the time when it came out, and Dawn and I watched it just by ourselves first before we showed it to the kids, and we sat them all down, and we, like, explained the ring wraiths to them, and we told Gracie specifically, like, "This is gonna be scary, but they're not real," the whole thing that you tell a 3-year-old. And we got to that point in the movie, and she just died laughing, and she was like, "Oh, mom and dad, are you so serious? You thought that was gonna scare me?" It was hilarious, but it was,
That's adorable.
yeah, it was sweet as it could be.
Well, I guess we gotta write something today now that we're
Yeah,
talking
it's,
about
are we,
where are we in the
yeah, we got a couple of
countdown?
minutes. Let's see, let me, I should probably get my correct windows up on my screen, and I should join the sprint and let me change my. Okay, we've got a minute and 37 seconds. Today
I'm
I'm gonna.
loving that cover that
Yeah,
you there.
this is a new short story. I I have kind of accidentally written about 8 short stories over the last 6 months or so. And they all are kind of similarly themed. And this one is about a kid in 1987 who accidentally discovers his dead father in a computer program that he picks up at a thrift store. So I'm doing some editing on that
Oh,
today. And
I need the link.
yeah, oh, the link. Well, I shared it earlier. Let me share it again.
Is it in the description too? I bet
It's
it is.
it probably not.
Oh, okay.
But there,
Never
there
mind.
we go in the chat there. That should get us started. And then we should have a link there for the next one. Anyway, what are you working on, Abby?
I am working on emails. I'm going to be responsible and do some work today.
Whatever.
Actually, I'm probably going to
Whatever.
drop off. I just came to say hello to everyone, and then
All right. Well, thank you for kicking it off. And when this is over, we'll have a real quick potty break, and then we go right into premium office hours with
I'll see you guys there.
you, Doug, and I. So if you want to see the dynamic trio, join us for office hours. See you guys in 20 minutes. And there's our countdown. Sprint number 1 is in the books, and I hope you guys had a successful first sprint. I'm going to copy the link for sprint number 2 and paste it in the chat here. How'd you do, everybody? I was doing some editing, and I've got my Dabble project open on one screen, and I've got some notes over here on the right screen, and I'm going back and forth and copying and pasting and doing a little rearranging, but it's going pretty well for me so far. I think I wrote about 500 new words there and copying and pasting. Let's see. Ashpash, 922 words. Athena with 594. Exclamation. That's what I'm saying. Be proud of those words you wrote. Erica says, here for sprint number 2. Well, welcome, Erica. We're glad to have you. Elena with 289. Reed with 324. My pretzel deprived mind caused some issues. Well, get some pretzels, Reed. Don't deprive yourself anymore. Oh, let's see. Doug, such a slow revision for me. So many things I wanted to change. I feel you, Doug. I do. And, but you know, it's those revision days that really shape the manuscript into something that you're really proud of. And so I know it's going to be great, whatever you're revising. Andrea, 384 for round 1. Congratulations. Hope found some interesting pictures for my mood board. That brings up a great question. Who here uses a mood board, or do you use visual aids or musical aids to help with the to get the vibe and the mood of the book? If you do, I'd love to hear what you think about that. J.M. Brown, 753. Metalver, minus 856. Some days are like that. And if you're minus 856 on purpose because you're shaping that story and getting it down to the most important words, then congratulations. Reed says pretzels haven't arrived yet. My Instacart order is still in progress. Oh, well, some days, Reed, we just have to white knuckle it through. Susan, 126 words. All right. So, is anyone working on a brand new book or story that they haven't written yet? I'm waiting for some final edits to come back on my science fiction trilogy that I'm publishing with Athon Books, and so I've got a bunch of little projects that I'm kind of dinking with while I'm waiting for those to come in. And when I finish the edits on this story that I'm working on, I have an idea for a new book that I think I'm going to start writing. And Reed said, indeed, my knuckles are the whitest. I feel you. Let's see. Athena says, I make playlists for my main characters. I love it. It's helpful when delving into their minds. I love that. I also, music is very much a trigger for me that it helps me to really fall into a mood, especially if I'm trying to tap into nostalgia, a feeling that I had when I was a teenager, young adult, whatever. Or maybe if I'm trying to remember how I felt when my children were born, or things like that. Music and smells there. I still this very distinct smell from my grandfather's living room, and every time I catch a whiff of that, I'm transported back. It's such a beautiful thing. Let's see. Ashpash says, I'm still fanficking, getting the idea done so I can focus on an actual manuscript this summer. I love it. Doug says, I have such a backlog of things to revise. I need to clear some out for my mental health before I can write more new stuff. But Doug, I'm finding myself a lot like that. I have more finished stories sitting on my hard drive in my Dabble project that, I've got to start clearing them out this year. I've got more finished that I need to publish. And anyway, we'll catch up on all the other comments after 20 minutes. See you guys in 20 minutes. Thanks. All right, everybody. Um, I think I got 24 new words that time. I wrote some, I copied and pasted some, I deleted a few, you know, all part of the revision process. Let's see. How about sprint number 3 before we read some comments here? I want to make sure you guys have the link to sprint number 3. I'm pasting it in the comments right now. Now I missed a couple of comments last time before we started that sprint, so let me get in here and see what I missed. J.M. Brown said I'm in the very early stages of a new one because I'm letting one I finished recently simmer. I seem to have an overwhelming supply of new ideas. It's kind of an inside joke that we on the Dabble marketing team say that we have no lack of great ideas. Finding the time to execute on all of those fun ideas, that's another thing. But I find myself in the same position that I've got stories that I get an idea for, I write it, I put it on the hard drive, I let it simmer for a little bit, come back, and I see things that I never saw before. I get new ideas. I think of ways that I could expand it. Maybe some things need to be trimmed away. It's a great place to be when you find yourself like that. Let's see what else we got here. Susan said, is it 11,000 into my new adult fantasy novel? Congratulations. NJ, difficult working with someone else's characters and trying to honor the original property. Tough. Doug said it's such a new and good problem to have for me. Yeah, I feel you. Let's see. What else have we missed here? Ashpash said 765 that time. Doug with minus 44. I feel you, Doug. Sometimes it's just like that. Athena 658 exclamation point. Congratulations. Reed 625 for a subtotal of 949. Go ahead. Good job. Matalver minus 233. It's going to be one of those days where we celebrate trimmed words, isn't it? That's okay. Some days are just like that. J.M. Brown with 852. Andrea 420. Jane with 139. Erica 225 in changes for 2 chapters. Excellent. Elena 288. Keo said I built a quarter of a town. Congratulations, Keo. Doug said, don't forget, if you're joining us for office hours, they are now hosted in the Dabble Academy community, not on YouTube. So glad you said that, Doug, because if you guys remember the last time Doug and I did office hours, we were having trouble with the software that we use for broadcasting on YouTube. And, it was a happy accident. We said, well, we'll just do it over in Dabble U. And it was such a great experience. We discovered new features that we weren't aware of yet, and we kind of kicked the tires, and you guys helped us. It was such a great experience. We're going to do that over there again, and we do hope that you will join us. Hope said, first, NJ said, color coding my text to keep track of perspectives I'm switching between. Love that. Hope said the mood board is really coming on, really enjoying interpreting the book into visual form. Hope I find myself sometimes unable to really get my mind around the story until I do. And I'm a horrible artist. I have 2 kids that are visual artists. They've graduated from college in visual arts. And I'm just amazed at the way they see things and then can translate. I'm not that way, but sometimes even with my chicken scratch drawings, it helps me to wrap my brain around. So, that's a part of being human, I guess. Elena said I'm at 90% of my book. NJ said if there are beta readers, are there alpha readers? Sure. Different writers, kind of handle that differently. Some people want early readers to see if their story is on track and if they're hitting the right notes. It's maybe not so much about the all of the execution of the story, just wanting to make sure you're hitting those alpha readers. Good. We'll talk about that again on another time. But yeah, 20 minutes, guys. We'll see you on the other side, and then we're going to get ready for office hours. Good luck. And there's our 10-second timer. All right, that is sprint number 3. The end for today's writing sprints. I hope that you enjoyed writing with us and got a lot accomplished. I think I made it through all of my notes that I have, so I'm going to print off my uh, 40-page story. It looks like, and read it, which is what I kind of do for my final edits. Um, I'll kind of do a physical read over and make any marks. So don't know if you guys do that. We'll talk about that next week. Kind of what you do, to do your edits. I think that'd be a fun thing to chat about a little bit. I hope that all of you had a great time. Be sure to copy out your words and paste them into your Dabble project or whatever software you use. Just don't leave them at the wordsprints.org website. They'll live there for about 24 hours and then they get deleted. So make sure you copy out your words. We don't want to lose anything. Please come and join us over in the Dabble U Academy for office hours coming up in just a few minutes. I'm going to run and refill my water glass. It's all empty, and take just a minute to stretch my legs, and I'll see you guys over there. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you guys on the other side. Thanks.